Spoilers ahead. Watch out, and take care. The movie is based on real events, and how in early October 1941, Nazi forces traveled to within 200 kilometers of Moscow. We see a battle scene, in which young officers are firing armor piercings at enemy tanks. The scene is very tense, as it is raining hard, and one of their comrades gets hit. When they launch their armor-piercing bullets for the second fire, we see that it hits a cardboard tank. This is a training scene that we just witnessed, at the training grounds of artillery and infantry forces. The commander back in the observation deck is impressed by the hit down the tank barrel, and asks battery commander who is the gun layer. He replies that it is Junior Sergeant Lavrov. The commander orders for the third target to be put up. Looking through the target, Lavrov notices how the 3 tank targets are connected by a line that holds them at the turrets. He aims his gun there, and tells his companions to fire. The target is hit, and all 3 tanks fall. This antic is not well received. A nurse Masha notices, and tells her friend how Lavrov is the best. Her friend points out that a while back, Masha used to consider Dmitry Shemyakin the best, but Masha doesn't say anything, sharing a look with Shemyakin, who looks over at her and smiles. Later on, the commander lines everyone up, and asks who is responsible. Lavrov steps up, accepting responsibility. But the commander tells him that he shouldn't be too glad, because he only hit the first 2 targets, and the third one would have killed them all in a real battle. He asks if anyone can answer why. Sergeant Shemyakin steps up and gives the correct answer, that because it hit the turret, the tank was overall unharmed, and would have advanced. After they're dismissed, Shemyakin notices Lavrov looking at Masha, and warns him to stay away from her, as she's a good girl. Lavrov takes offense, saying that just because he's from an orphanage, that doesn't mean he doesn't deserve a good girl. Shemyakin proposes that they make a pact, where none of them makes a move toward Masha, and let her choose for herself. They shake on it, as the infantry cadets march by. We see that the artillery and infantry students have a friendly rivalry between them. That night, Lavrov visits Masha, who has fallen asleep while on duty, at the clinic reception, and replaces the pen in her hand with a flower. He hides when the duty doctor walks out. The doctor and Masha both hear him hiding, but the doctor doesn't say anything, takes pity, and walks away. Masha discovers Lavrov hiding in a corner, and reprimands him, before kissing him. When he sneaks back into his bunk, Shemyakin is awake and confronts him. They get into a fight, and when their commander tries to ignore the fight, and let it go as an accident, Shemyakin speaks up, and says that they did indeed get into a fight, so that Lavrov can get further in trouble. They both end up with 5 days of detention. Meanwhile, news comes from the Warsaw Highway. A mechanized Nazi convoy is 190 km from Moscow. Lieutenant General orders the Colonel Strelbitsky to send his cadets and their commanding officers to Ilyinsky to hold off enemy forces until reinforcements can be sent in. Colonel Strelbitsky is hesitant, but there is no other option, otherwise Moscow would fall. He travels back to the school and announces the orders, sending everyone into a flurry. Masha finds out about Lavrov and Shemyakin, and calls out to Lavrov outside his cell's window. He tells her to be careful, and she leaves. During the briefing, Colonel Strelbitsky asks Lieutenant Ailshkin about the troublemaker Lavrov, and asks to send him with a vanguard, whose job is to cross the Ilyinsky line by nightfall, and join forces with Captain Storchak and his detachment of paratroopers. Ailshkin goes to get both Lavrov and Shemyakin out of confinement, with Lavrov leaving immediately with the vanguard. Lavrov's friend goes to tell Masha about this latest development, and she rushes to get a chance to see Lavrov, but he's already on a truck halfway out the gate, when they catch each other's gaze. Masha watches tearfully as Lavrov leaves. Shemyakin spectates the entire thing from the side, looking devastated. We also see Ailshkin say goodbye to his wife and son, promising them that he'll be back. On their way, an enemy plane attacks their convoy, and they lose some of their ammo, along with a cadet, exposing the other cadets to a taste of what lies ahead. We then shift to the vanguard, traveling under the command of Lieutenant Menchich. They come across civilians carrying a cart, but Momchich notices a foot under the clutter. As he calls his unit to attention, the civilian man whistles, and they are surrounded by soldiers who were hiding in the forest. As Momchich and the man have a standoff, the soldier who was hiding on the cart recognizes Lavrov, as they were together in the orphanage. The civilian man reveals himself to be Captain Storchak, and explains to Momchich that this is how they attack the German forces, by using bait. The vanguard, along with Captain Storchak's force, encounters a German convoy and attacks. Storchak is feeling confident now, that his infantry is backed up by artillery. They successfully attack all the tanks, but when the German infantry attacks their flank, Lavrov leaves his gun and goes off alone. He encounters a German soldier and hesitates to shoot. He is saved by Storchak, who takes Lavrov to his commander. He is reprimanded, and demoted from a gun layer specialist to an ammo carrier. At the Ilyinsky frontier by the riverbank, Colonel Strelbitsky arrives to find the fortifications being built by the locals are incomplete. He suggests his superiors, they blow up the bridge, so that the Germans are forced to cross through the marsh, where they wouldn't overpower their cadets. But he is told that they are to keep the bridge intact for their tanks, when reinforcements arrive. The cadets also join the locals in building, as the vanguard keeps the enemy back at the Warsaw Highway. Lavrov, now demoted, does secretly adjust the aim of the guns, which is noticed by Storchak. Storchak pats his back, saying he wouldn't have believed it, if he hadn't seen it himself. Major General Smirnov informs Colonel Strelbitsky and the others, that the reinforcements will arrive later than expected. The vanguard has been battling the enemy for 3 days, but he orders to have it split up and join them at the frontier. Masha is on the field the next day, keeping an eye out for Lavrov, as she tends to the wounded soldiers. We see Lavrov behind a gun, aiming at some motorcycles, when he is hit by a German. When he wakes up, he is badly injured, but finds Masha next to him. She cries, telling him how horrible it is to have so many die, that it is impossible to even bury them. Storchak comes and tells Lavrov, that his bride-to-be is a loyal girl, and he should take care of her. At dawn, we see 2 soldiers in the trenches. Pakhomov is entertaining himself by teasing Vasilkiu. As they talk, they hear German planes flying overhead. Everyone wakes up and takes cover, as the planes begin to drop barrels of explosives. The Russian soldiers are completely helpless, trying to hide, but many of them are killed. The planes then drop bombs, and more destruction happens. At the second line of defense, where Elshkin and Shemyakin are, the soldiers notice the smoke of bombs far from the first line of defense. As the smoke clears at first defense, the surviving commanders order their soldiers to get up and get their bearings, check their weapons and prepare for another attack. Masha and her friend are also there, horrified at the carnage. Vasilkiu survives and begins to cry over Pakhomov's body, but Pakhomov has also survived. German infantry and tanks are spotted as they make their way, and another round of fighting begins. That night, Shemyakin makes his way to the medical post, to meet up with Lavrov. The two reconcile, happy to see each other, as Shemyakin informs Lavrov about the 3 attacks on the front line. Lavrov tells him the names of all the comrades they've lost so far. We then shift to Smirnov, who is in a meeting with the other commanding officers. They discuss how the Germans have a large infantry and group of tanks, that they will not be able to withstand, as they've already lost half of their troops. They send the commander of a missile artillery battalion to a field, that will attack the German post with missiles. The next day, Storchak and Pakhomov make their way into the German post, unaware of the upcoming missile attack. The missiles hit their target, and Storchak captures the German commander. They learn that the Germans are planning a strike on Bolshaya Shubinka, as they continue fighting for the bridge. Pretty soon, there is another attack on the bridge by the Germans, in which infantry soldiers get to the trenches, killing many Russian soldiers, including Vasilkiu. Shemyakin and Masha say goodbye, as he is sent to Bolshaya with the reinforcements. Lavrov sees them hugging, and Shemyakin says he and Masha have known each other since they were 3 years old. They set aside their differences and part ways. At Bolshaya, the Germans carry out their strike, as a bloody battle breaks out. The Russians are overwhelmed by the enemy forces, as the Germans continue to kill their numbers. They go as far as burning them alive with flamethrowers. Shemyakin returns from Bolshaya, the only one. The next day, everyone prepares for fighting, with Masha trying to convince Lavrov to go to the hospital. But just before getting into the truck, he slips into the soldiers, who are going to fight with Shemyakin's help. Masha sees, but doesn't say anything. The next morning, everyone is in position as they wait for their reserves. A couple of tanks come into view, and everyone starts cheering, but Lavrov notices that they are German tanks, and everyone falls back to attack. As they continue fighting, Smirnov tells a soldier to relay the message to everyone, that they are to fall back. Lavrov is in a trench, and offers to relay the message to Elshkin, who is away from them. As he makes his way there, Shemyakin notices Masha, and goes to check on her. Just as he arrives, he is shot. He confesses his love for her before dying. Lavrov joins them, just in time to witness Shemyakin die. He calls out to Elshkin, but he tells them to go, he will cover for them. Lavrov joins him in his pillbox, with Masha positioning herself as their guard. Lavrov and Elshkin take out 2 tanks, with the last one left standing. It has thick armor, and they're waiting to get a shot at its weak spot. The tank is turning to aim at them, as Elshkin instructs Lavrov to aim the tank's barrel. As this happens, Masha gets shot in the arm, and is unable to throw out the grenades that land in their pillbox. With seconds left, Lavrov takes aim at the barrels and shoots, hitting his target. Elshkin gazes at the picture of his family, as Masha and Lavrov share a look, before the grenades blow up. The survivors return, and text appears, stating that the movie is dedicated to the cadets and soldiers who gave their lives at the Ilyinsky frontier, changing the course of the entire war. The end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. Turn on the notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out.